Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Holistic Truth. We are live in Studio 109. I'm your host, Jamie Dorley, CEO of Nutritional Frontiers, with my co-host, the lovely and talented, our Chief Growth Officer and creator of the Soul Intelligence, Christine Genovese. Welcome back.
Thanks, JD. Happy to be here.
You are glowing, and look at you. You got some tan going on. Where were you at?
Well, I was at our professional training event last week on Clearwater Beach, having a great time.
Oh, the Sold Out, Transforming Through the Fire, that event you talking about?
That incredible event, yes.
Wow, what an amazing weekend it was. It was so great to do this with you and our incredible team, our brand ambassadors, and over 170 healthcare professionals and staff.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was an amazing event. I just want to thank everyone for all your support. If you didn't make it, make sure you attend the next one. We do have it on recording, so you can watch the replay at some point. And our next big event will be in October in our home base of Pittsburgh.
Yes, October 2nd to the 4th. So it'll be a Thursday, Friday, and half a day Saturday. So
Oh, I like it.
you can hit our website up under events and sign up, and we'd love to see you.
So we're excited to talk about our Q2 focus. And what is our Q2 focus on this year?
Well, considering the time of year, right, we start looking at what's going on with people with allergies and blood sugar and cardiovascular issues.
Well, it is allergy season, I've heard. So so many people suffer with allergies. I'm not one of them. However, a lot of people are. So what are some of the underlying causes energetically of allergies?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. And I think it's really interesting that allergy season kind of comes up right after winter when you've been cooped up with people that may irritate you. So
Do you have to be cooped up with them? Some people irritate me when I'm not cooped up. But.
So allergies are really about feeling annoyed or aggravated by other people. That's really the underlying root cause.
You would think I would have allergies. Maybe I just give allergies. I don't know.
It's also about giving away your power, right? Blaming people or events like for your negative reactions sometimes. Obsessing with people who have hurt you, or difficulty forgiving or seeing the blessing in the hurt. Sometimes being controlled or kind of manipulated by others and then punishing them by withholding love and kindness, and not really knowing how to create boundaries with others. So believe it or not, that's the underlying root cause of allergies.
Well, Nutritional Frontiers, we don't want to run for the cure because we're not going to catch it. We want to run for the cause. So if you're familiar with us, you may understand our brand standards. If not, if you're new to Nutritional Frontiers, just know you can trust our team at Nutritional Frontiers. Everything is done through the certified facilities, following all the GMP guidelines. We use a lot of innovation, including in some of the allergy formulas we're going to talk about today. Things like Benny Gut that's in our Air Max. Have you tried the Air Max?
I have tried the Air Max.
And,
like on occasion, like feeling like a little stuffy in my head.
Yeah.
Maybe you did irritate me at one point.
Oh, I'm sure I have more than once, but we'll figure it out later. The integrity, we do what we say when we're going to do it. If you ever have any concern or, we have a money-back guarantee on all of our formulas in education, and service second to none. Nobody will out-service us. So today we really want to talk about, like you said, some of the underlying causes, but we find the most common ones are what?
Toxicity, nutritional deficiencies, and stress is the three primary drivers. And I don't know if you know this, but April is actually Stress Awareness Month.
Oh, it is. I'm well aware of the stress these days. So,
Are you aware of any stress you might be causing?
I do cause some, and I'm trying to solve some stress. So, yeah, it's cool that we really look at the underlying causes, right? Because people oftentimes are looking for the solution, but oftentimes that solution is within, right? So genetics. But the other one that Dr. Bob mentioned at our recent PTE is lack of movement.
That is also another
So I know
one.
you're an avid tennis player, so that's not an issue for you. I like to walk and work out, but a lot of people have really created the new smoking, which is sitting. So we want to change that, but just like you can't out-medicate a bad lifestyle, sometimes you can't even out-supplement. So we do like to incorporate the great pyramid of health. The big one for you is the emotional wellness, of course, with soul intelligence, but really building this great pyramid of health so that you really can't build your health on quicksand, right? You need a really solid foundation. So the water, the food we're drinking out of the new Nutritional Frontiers cups, of course. The emotional wellness, the sleep, the body's ability to detoxify. And you got to build the pyramid up one ladder at a time, right? prebiotic, probiotic, and enzymes, micro and macronutrients, essential fats, phytonutrients, and you can do that in one shake. So do you do the shake a day? Are you a member of the club?
I am a member of the Shake a Day Club. And actually, I think I was sharing with you, I was feeling it when I didn't have the Shake a Day. You know, we're going to a breakfast and being with people. I'm used to having a shake first thing in the morning and not having, you know, the protein and especially the greens. I really do feel it. My energy level is much different.
Well, I did say you were glowing. And now we have the Glowberry Shake. That's a new flavor. I'm not even sure what Glowberry is, but it sounds pretty cool. So let's hear about the shake of the day for the quarter.
Well, I believe it is with our new Hydro Beef protein, which we've been getting rave reviews on. It's amazing. It's got this wonderful light cacao flavor to it, and it's a collagen protein, right? We're all looking for more collagen to get rid of those fine lines and lubricate our joints, and it's in the Hydro Beef. And it's also got a patented form, right, which is the Hydro Beef itself.
Yeah, Hydro Beef is a PRT, a patent research trademark form of beef protein. It's hypoallergenic. So it doesn't have any of the most common allergens. So we're talking about allergy season. You want to make sure what you are ingesting, especially your supplements, aren't creating more potential allergens. And what are some of those? Soy is a big one, right? Wheat, gluten, dairy, artificial colorings, flavorings, dyes, those type of things, and sometimes even vegan proteins. So the Hydro Beef is the most hypoallergenic, stevia-free, and how's it taste?
Oh, it's delicious. It's got this light cocoa flavor to it. And then to make the Glowberry Shake, we added in the Pro Reds, right, which is all yummy, delicious berries. I think this one's a raspberry flavor.
This is, yeah, fruit and veggie based, the Pro Reds. It's our foundation colors for me. A lot of people like the greens, but the Reds has all the nutrients for the brain, the heart, the gut, the liver, the skin, you name it, it's in there. And it's a great tasting powder. And the Hydro Beef by itself reminded me as a little kid chasing down the ice cream man. The chocolate malt, right? Or chocolate milk. It does have a little lighter, it's not a heavy dark chocolate, a lighter chocolate flavor, and it digests so nice. So you can combine any of the shakes with the colors, but in this quarter, we're going to focus on Hydro Beef chocolate with the Pro Reds, and it gives us that Glowberry shake that we're looking for.
Well, I love the fact that you talked about it being hypoallergenic, right? When you think about what food sensitivities are or food allergies, it is actually, again, we're talking allergies, right? So feeling irritated by what's happening around you, like extremely sensitive to other people's behavior and maybe even beliefs about you. Also, maybe feeling frustrated that your discomforts with life haven't been heard or resisting life to focus on what you like and don't like and not allowing a full expression of who you are. So that's a lot of like what some food allergies and sensitivities are.
Yeah, you know, the immune system is going to be hypersensitive when you have some type of allergen coming in. So the immune system is doing its job, right? So you can have these different reactions with IgG and IgA. And really the idea is this is our defense mechanism, right? When I grew up, there wasn't too many allergies, right? You know, people may have a couple allergies. Now people are to everything. I think it's a toxicity.
Absolutely.
And it's a toxic load people that are exposed to. If you look at some of the most common food allergens, it's highlighting right here. So what are the most common food allergens?
Well, I think milk is probably the biggest, right?
Yeah, working with the co-founder, the late great international
Cow's
icon.
milk in particular.
Yeah, Dr. Weiner, he would say cow's milk, number one. Soy, number two. Corn is another big one. Right? So these are over-processed. Some people are really sensitive to eggs, especially if they're not organic. Wheat products. So these are all usually because the processing of them or the source of them. So we always look at alternatives. So what type of milk would you like in your shake?
I've switched. You know, I used to like oat milk because kind of the creaminess to it, but now I'm more of an almond milk alternative. I think that works really well. And what I love to do is to put it in that frother with our own World of Wellness collagen creamer.
And
nice that froths it up nice for my coffee, actually.
Yeah, and if you look at the medical approach, what they're really going to do is try and help with symptoms. So if the symptom is, hey, I have a heart attack or a stroke or, God forbid, you're in some type of trauma or accident or injury, you know, the medical intervention is going to be a miracle worker.
Right.
However, over 80% of all doctors' visits are for chronic care. So they're using an acute therapy for a chronic condition, and what are the results?
Typically, it doesn't work.
Yeah, very, very poor at best, right? So if you look
Mhm.
at some of these approaches, the antihistamine, it's just blocking the histamine release. It doesn't address the underlying cause. You have kids using inhalers, right?
Mhm.
Uh, bronchodilators, right, for asthma or different type of breathing conditions. You have allergy shots, right? I remember this kid came in, Anthony. He was about 7 years old, and I was doing consults years ago, and he'd been getting allergy shots for 5 years
Oof.
since he was 2.
Mm.
And his mom's goal was that he had psoriasis, which I was suffering from years ago. And the goal was that he would be able to take off his shirt at the pool, right? It could
Mm.
make you cry. So I explained to the mom that, what you're currently doing may not be a long term solution. I said, how many allergy shots would Anthony need? She goes, what do you mean? I go, you're at 250 shots. She started laughing. I go, it's one a week for 5 years. That's 250 shots.
Oof.
And it finally clicked.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, 250 shots. How many more he'll need? I says, infinity, right?
Right.
So we addressed his issue with psoriasis was not allergies, it was candida.
Mm.
He had been on antibiotics as a little kid, developed candida, never addressed it. And within 1 month, the change was dramatic for this kid.
Wow.
And here he is probably 10 years later and doing fantastic.
Well, I
So,
remember like the nasal sprays too, right? Because it opens up those passages, but then it kind of burns everything out.
yeah,
Over
dries
time.
you out over time. So these are the most common medications: Allegra, Zyrtec, Benadryl, and there are times you may need Benadryl if you're having a severe reaction to maybe peanuts or a shellfish, something like that. But these should be used short term in emergency cases only.
Mm.
However, people use these chronically, and the symptoms and the issues usually get worse, not better. So, what are some of our solutions at Nutritional Frontiers for addressing allergies?
Well, probably the number one is Air Max, right? And those are chewables, and we have them in 2 different flavors. We've got a strawberry if you're a sweet person, and then we have an orange, which is more of a tart.
So, sweet and tart. We got one flavor
Something
for
like
each
that.
of us, right? Yeah, so Air Max is going to be the best one for allergies, asthma, COPD, bronchitis, any type of allergies, breathing issues, nasal, sinuses. And it's even cool when people try it that don't think they have any issues. What happens then?
Well, usually what we do is we encourage someone to take 2 chewables, like breathe, take 2 chewables, see how you feel in about 15 minutes breathing again, and you'll notice that your nasal passages have opened,
Yeah.
and that maybe you feel a little bit different in your chest.
In fact, we had a member at our event recently, Dr. Bland, Ryan Bland from the West Coast. He had been suffering from breathing issues and nasal issues for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And by using the Air Max, he said he's in shock that now he doesn't have the same issues. Mostly it was in the right nostril. And it's cleared up just by using the Air Max. And the reason is that this is a comprehensive formula that addresses the underlying cause. Really, we're trying to do with the Benigut, which is a PRT version of the perilla seed extract. You have these 2 T helper cells, and think about like a weighted scale. And once they get out of balance, that will lead to the mast cell expansion
Mm-hmm.
and then the histamine release, like a balloon that blows up.
Right.
The antihistamine will just block the release. What the Benigut does, it balances the T helper cells back out, so you don't have the mast cell or the balloon blowing up, therefore no histamine release.
Right.
But we didn't stop there. Perilla seed has a lot of research for the immune system, but we added in some support nutrients. You heard about quercetin being great for the lungs and breathing. What about DMG? Why is DMG in here?
Well, because it helps the body with oxygen utilization, increases blood flow, and delivering of the nutrients. So getting into your system quickly. It's like the ultimate methylator, right? We love DMG because it's darn mighty good. That's why we
Yeah.
have it in so many products.
And then we add in elderberry. A lot of times that's used by itself just as a cough suppressant to help the bronchial tubes and airways open up in the lungs, right? So you can take a deeper breath. And then we add in some of the trace minerals. Trax stands for the real amino acid chelates with the zinc. And also bromelain, which is a really good enzyme that will help with any mucus buildup to really break that down in the lungs. So an all-in-one formula. We have the sweet and the tart, right? Or is it tart and sweet?
Depends on the day.
Yes. And then we also have the capsule version. So if you don't want to do a chewable, you can take the capsule. What's your favorite flavor?
It's got to be strawberry.
Yeah, that is the number 1 flavor. A lot of people do like the citrus, but we have the strawberry. So you can use this for acute flare-ups. You can use it to help correct the issue. What type of dose do you recommend on the Air Max chewables?
I think it's just taking 2 and see how you feel. And when you start to feel like you need a little more, you can take it again.
Yeah, and you can take up to 12 a day.
Yeah.
So super safe and effective. Take 2 every 2 to 3 hours when you have an acute issue. And for chronic, let's start with 2 per day.
Right. And you can also give it to kids.
Oh, absolutely. Kids, moms, babies, it doesn't matter. Super safe and effective. The other key part is the buffered C+. Everyone knows vitamin C, right? I learned this about it as a kid. My dad would take vitamin C to prevent colds. However, I found out in some of my training that most vitamin C on the market is derived from corn. And we just mentioned, what is the top food allergens?
Corn. Corn's one of them.
So corn's one of them. So we actually use a very unique form of vitamin C in our buffered C+. These are in veggie caps, not tablets. And it's non-corn, non-GMO. Do you know what it's made from?
It is made from cherries.
Oh, and very, very few people, if any, will have an allergen to cherries.
True.
And we also take the vitamin C in here and we buffer it. Because if you don't buffer it, it's very hard on the stomach and very difficult to absorb. So buffered C+, these are great to take again for preventive, or if you need an acute solution to the issue. You could add this on top of the Air Max or take it as a standalone. So I love the buffered C+, one of our top formulas. It's not only buffered, it has the bioflavonoids, which are another group of antioxidants, and citrus that we add right on top of this. So you have the bioflavonoid complex, works great for people with chronic nosebleeds, hemorrhoids, spider veins, immune issues, chronic colds and flus. So a great thing to add in, really safe for kids or adults. Quercetin, I'll tell you what, this is an interesting nutrient because they talk about calming the cytokine storm during COVID, right? Quercetin will actually do that. It's actually been taken in studies and compared versus some medications and actually did better for inhibit the production of some of these enzymes that are pro-inflammatory for the cytokine storm. So quercetin, you can use as a standalone or in conjunction as a bundle with some of the other nutrients we talked about. So one of our favorites are SPMs, and we have this really cool chart because it talks about all the different things that SPMs can do in the body. What are SPMs?
Specialized pro-resolving mediators.
Yeah, where are they derived from?
They come from omega-3s. So you had this really cool chart I remember looking at that at the top, taking fish oil or omega-3 is kind of at the top. But then as it breaks down in the body, it gets to a level that's called specialized pro-resolving mediators. So instead of having to take so much to break it down, we start with where it needs to be.
Super concentrated. So what they found is omega-3 fatty acids are at the top of the anti-inflammatory cascade. Then you have EPA and DHA. Those are the active ingredients in fish oil. But what they found under Dr. Sinclair and Dr. Bland at Harvard University is that there's deeper concentrations of these, the 4, 17, and 18, and they term these pro-resolving mediators because what they do is they resolve unresolved inflammation.
Right.
You familiar with PubMed?
Yes.
One of your favorite sites to go to?
Oh, of course.
So rather than you reading all the articles out there, there's over 1,000 published studies on the benefits of SPM with COVID alone.
Right.
So unresolved inflammation, if you have joint issues, if you have long-term COVID, if you have autoimmune type of conditions, you can use SPM. Have you ever used this acutely?
Yeah, I use it. I use it acutely and also especially when I know I'm going to be playing a lot of tennis in particular. Just because you're going to have inflammation just related to using certain muscles in the body, and I usually take it, instead of taking like what I would used to do, an Advil.
Yeah, Advil has a lot of potential side effects.
Yes.
So SPMs, I've used it quite a bit. One of my favorite testimonials when I was working with you and Justin in Texas, and had my book bag, of course, full of books, and I went to go throw it around my shoulder, and I got that muscle right around the scapula. Normally, when that acts up, it's about 3 to 10 days of irritation.
Yep.
I, in fact, did ask, in full transparency, I'd asked the front desk at the hotel, do you have any Advil? Because I'm in pain. And luckily, they did not. So when I got in the car with you and Justin, I asked him if he had any SPMs. He had a bottle in the back seat. I took 3 immediately, and by the time we got to our first appointment, it took the edge off.
Yep.
I took 3 more at lunch, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the pain was gone. So you can use this acutely. Some clients go up to 9 per day during acute crisis. It's safe and effective, and the great thing is when you're taking the SPM, you don't need to take the omegas at that period of time because you're getting into benefits of both. SPM, one of the biggest game changers in our field in the last 25 years. So we talked about Air Max and Buffered C Plus and quercetin and SPM, and then we have the Immune Boost. So tell us about the Immune Boost because you got that big smile on your face.
Well, Immune Boost is really cool because it has pretty much everything you need in one bottle to help boost your immune system. Hence the name, right? We worked with an incredible pharmacist in Tampa, Florida, to help come up with this formula, Dr. Lori Roman.
Thanks, Dr. Lori.
Yep. And we put everything you need. We call it our immune kit in a bottle. So it's got vitamin C, vitamin D3, you got zinc, you have N-acetylcysteine, you've got quercetin, and of course DMG, all in one.
Yeah, what a great formula. We used to have these separately, actually, in a box, in a kit. You had to open all the different bottles, and it's much more cost-effective, better compliance. You have everything in one. When I was getting a little rundown after the holidays this year, I was taking 5 about 4 to 5 times a day. And I tell you what, it immediately halted the progression of what I was feeling. I was able to work. I was still tired at night, got my rest. But the Immune Boost definitely reduced the duration and the intensity of the illness. So Immune Boost available now in one bottle rather than a kit. So great thing is that we have a lot of options for you for allergies. I know there's a couple other things you want to share with us, some of the underlying emotional causes with this and some of the energy. So share with us one more clinical pearl that you have.
So just in terms of, like, if you think about hay fever, right, that's something that people think that, they get seasonally. But really what it is when you're suppressing your feelings, especially like frustration or anger or guilt, or you just kind of feel stuck.
Are you
right?
looking at me?
Well, and feeling like you can't do what you want to do, kind of that resistance, right? You feel kind of stuck, or too much worry that there's not enough, like resources, whether that's like finances or love or care. For you to survive.
Yes. Check.
Or you don't feel like there's time for yourself. Like you need to find out who or what you're allergic to and what is irritating and infuriating you. So just when you think about allergies, think about it as, okay, take a step back. Yes, help get your body back on track by using one of the solutions we talked about today. But also do a little exam and go within and start thinking about, okay, who or what am I allergic to? What is irritating me? What's frustrating me? Why do I feel stuck? And journal it out, write it out, meditate on it, and see if you can get that energy to move up and out of the body mentally and emotionally while you give your body the support it needs in the physical.
And a great way to do that, something I practice, is a soul intelligence.
Absolutely.
So
if you're interested in shifting it, I'm happy to help work with someone.
So how do they get in touch with you about that?
About soul intelligence?
Yes.
Yep. If you would like to go to soulintelligencemethod.com, you can see all the different ways you might be able to work with me.
Yeah, and the great thing about Soul Intelligence, she's offering one-on-one sessions. She's also offering staff trainings, and there's a certification course. How do I learn about that?
Everything is on the website. You can also go to Nutritional Frontiers website under events and courses, and you can look to see a little bit about the Soul Intelligence course.
Well, thanks so much, Christine. Welcome back to Studio 109. We're so excited to be talking about our Q2 focus in 2025. This section, we're talking about allergies, and we're getting the blood sugar and cardiovascular at next month's Holistic Truth session. So thanks so much for joining us again. We love how you sprinkle in the Soul Intelligence with the nutraceuticals to really give people a long-term solution. So thanks, everyone, for all support. Let's have a great quarter as we gear up for summertime. Let's take care of the allergies right now, and we appreciate it. Let's have a great quarter, and God bless.